In this video, we're going to create and block the surface texture symbol and learn how to use it. Alright, so let's get into our set template and save it as surface tutorial. Alright, so let's start in the dimension layer, because surface texture symbols are meant to be not a thick line type, but a line type that is about as thick as a dimension. So we're in the dimension layer, and in the book there's 3 different types of surface texture symbols. We're going to draw all 3 and block them separately. So we'll start with the first one, which is a basic surface texture symbol. Alright, so we'll just start with a line, and we'll go up by 60 degrees off of the So the surface texture symbol is at an angle. So I'm going to turn my polar tracking on. And it is 60 degrees between the 2 lines. So that means this is 90 and I want 30 off of that. So that'll be 120. I'm just going to draw an extra long line and do the same in the other direction. Then I'm going to draw a horizontal line. I'm going to get rid of this one later. I'm just going to use this one for reference, and I'm going to copy that one up by 4.5, because you see in the figure that the dimension for the next one is, oh, did it not do that? Second point relative for, oh, because I didn't put the angle 90. And then the other one is relative 9, angle 90, and enter. And then I'll just extend this using the grip boxes. Alright, I'll zoom in using my wheel and then trim off what I don't need. So this side is short and this side is long. And then I'll just erase these lines that help me sketch it. And there's my first surface texture symbol. Now these dimensions I'm getting from the standard. I'm not making them up in any way. These are directly from the ASME standard. Alright, so I'm going to use this basic symbol as a reference to make the other 2. So I'm going to copy this one twice and go on to the next one, which is the material removal surface texture symbol, and this one just has an added feature of a line being drawn across. Alright, so that one's done. And then the other one is the no removal surface texture symbol, and it has a circle. So I'm going to do a circle, but I'm going to do a circle that has a tangent, tangent, tangent. Oh, it only has 2 tangents, so let's try tangent, tangent, radius. See if that one works. If it doesn't work, then I will try a different one. And then a radius. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to draw a line across and then do a tangent, 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 and then erase the line. There we go, tangent, 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 boom, boom, boom. There's my circle, and then erase that line. That was much easier. then guessing at what the radius is. All right, so we have our 3 surface texture symbols, and now we're going to block them. All right, so we're going to create a new block. The name of the first block is going to be basic surface. And we're going to select the object, this one here. And the insertion point, or the base point, is important with a surface texture symbol. We want this, the point, to be our insertion point, because when we insert it into a drawing, we want that point to be on a surface. So that's going to be our insertion point. And we're going to make it annotative. Retain, so if that's not selected, go ahead and select that. We're going to allow for exploding, and everything's good, so we'll say OK. And then we're going to right block that so that we can use it in many different drawings, not just the drawing that we're in. So W block. So we're going to right the block that we just made, basic surface, and we're going to choose the location that we're going to write it in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So basic surface, and go OK. And then we're going to do the same for the other 2. So create block. This one's going to be named material removal surface. Select object, select that whole thing. Base point, going to be that point. Annotative, everything looks good. Then we're going to right block. Going to write that material removal surface, pick a location for it, and save, and OK. And last one. This one's going to be named no removal surface. Select the object, hit enter, pick point, annotative, everything's good, right block. Oh, didn't want to do that. We're going to write a block. That one, no surface, no removal surface. Pick a location, save, and OK. All right, so all of these are now on our hard drive or your flash drive or wherever you put them, and we can use them in any file that we care to use it in. All right, so now let's just save this and get out of this file and open up Casting 2018. So I'll get out of this and open Casting 2018. All right, so castings, let's assume that this is a sand cast object. There's different kind of castings, but I guess the most widely known type is a sand casted part. So let's say this is cast iron. You make a mold in sand, and then you pour the molten metal in the sand mold, and it solidifies, and you have a solid part in the shape of the mold. Now the issue with sand is that it's rough, so the surface texture that comes out of this is rough. So if you need a smooth surface, you need to remove material and machine it to be smooth. And you can see the picture on the left. This is the part coming out of the mold. You'll notice that it has lots of rounded surfaces because you can imagine that sand, it's really hard to make a sharp corner with. So all of those rounded surfaces, they're called fillets and rounds. They're very typical of a casted part because it's really hard to make square corners. And then any surface that we need to finish or machine to make smooth, we need to put a surface texture symbol on. Now I'm old school and I used to call them a finish mark, but the new name for them, or maybe it was the old name, but I was used to call them the finish mark, but it's the surface texture symbol. Any place we're going to machine, we need to put a surface texture symbol. And these phantom lines indicate places that this part is going to be machined. And then over here on the right, this is the casting after the machining. So we're going to go ahead and put in the surface texture symbols where the part has been machined. And that's how they're used. All right, so we're going to insert our recent blocks. And you'll notice that we're removing material. So we're going to use the material remove surface symbol, and this is the one that's coming from the hard drive, so I will select that. And because it's annotative, it wants to ask me what scale, are we putting it in at. We'll just do 1:1, go OK, and then you'll see this symbol, and we can input it. Let me pan over. So wherever we need to put it, we'll put it in this orientation. Right, so you'll start out with this orientation. And I do not have nearest, I'm going to do near. So this surface here. Now let's get this surface here. So I'm going near and then just selecting the surface. And then is there any other in that orientation? No. So we'll click on that block and rotate it by an angle of 90. So now it's in this orientation. So we'll get this surface here. This surface here. And I think that is it. So now let's rotate it 180. And we can get this surface here. So you can see it's pretty easy to insert these. You just need to flip the angle for whatever surface that you're applying it to. And now we'll do 270. And this one. And I think that's it. Let's go back over here. So we need all 4 of these surfaces, those 2 surfaces, and the top and bottom there. And that's what we have. So that's how you create and block surface texture symbols, and that's how you insert them.